doing?
I'm good, and you?
Okay.
I'm going to ask a couple of questions.
Yes.
About your character, Demi. Can you tell us a bit more about him? Demi.
Well, he's a Russian captain, you know, submarine captain, and he's, you know, he's a little bit long in the tooth for that, because a lot of these guys were pretty young. But he had, his dad was a very famous submariner who kind of wrote the book on submarine warfare for Russian naval forces, and so he had a lot of pressure on him as a young man, and he had a lot to prove, and he got in a situation where he had a major accident and has been suffering the results of that ever since, not just psychologically, but also just professionally, career-wise. You know, he was not, he's not been given the best assignments. This boat that they go out on is ready for the junk heap, just about, to be sold to China or whatever. But he's, you know, I think he's a really decent, honorable kind of guy, and pretty soulful, and he's loyal, and pretty bright, I think. He certainly knows his job. And then things start happening.
You told us about Todd, who's your friend.
Yeah.
Can you discuss the experience of working with him?
I think he's doing a great job. I mean, we've just been working a couple weeks. Obviously, just a 4-week shoot, you know, but we've worked in the interior of the sub, which is really close quarters. I think he was very well prepared technically, you know, in terms of the kind of camera we're using. He and Byron had spent a lot of time in the sub. So he's been, and I also think as the days go by, he's getting even more and more comfortable in his role of working with us as the actors. And, I mean, I felt fine with him from day one because I know him. And I feel like I'm free to ask him anything I need to, and he you know, has good responses, and you know, he treats the crew well. He knows what it takes, and everybody's working hard. So far so good.
Talking about the crew.
And I think he's a wonderful writer. You know, I think he has a real insight into character, and I think he's written a number of characters in this thing that are really well-rounded and, you know, real well-defined.
The crew. Can you tell us how it was working with your fellow actors for you?
How it has been with my fellow actors?
Inside the submarine and all that.
Yeah, well, everybody's been really cool about it, you know, other than myself on a couple times, but you know, we all, you know, we know it's a small space, you know, like there's, you know, half the time people are going different directions in a porthole. It's about that big, you know, and you just have to be aware of what you're doing. You have to be aware of what's above you. A lot of guys have hit their heads on things. I mean, I'm one of the shorter guys in the movie, so I've had less trouble, but, you know, David and Fichtner, you know, they got a few inches on me, and then, you know, they got to really be careful what they're doing. You can get banged up. I mean, I got some bruises just from walking around. You know, the thing is, and it's metal. It's not like it's wood or plastic. I mean, it's hard and sharp. You know, so you got to be kind of careful. But everybody's, I think, been pretty tolerant of each other. You know, and respecting that everybody's got their work to do. So it's worked out pretty good so far.
Did you do any research about?
Well, yeah, I got, you know, Submarines for Dummies, and I got, which they actually have. The problem is the book is mostly about nuclear subs, but there was some good stuff in there about the basic, how they work, you know. I got a couple good books about, you know, the Russian submarines and the history of the naval forces, and how the submarines developed over the years, and where this particular sub fits in along those lines. And, you know, some technical stuff just to kind of know where certain things are in the sub and how they work. But yeah, I mean, it's like learning. You put me in a submarine, we wouldn't have any luck. But, you know, as an actor, what I try, you know, what you try to do is you fill yourself up with as much knowledge as you can, and so you at least can pretend in your head that you know what the hell you're doing. Sometimes you feel like you do, and sometimes you know, you got 30 some odd years of acting experience, and that's your job, is to make it believable. So, but when we're working things, when we're talking about whatever 5-degree up bubble, or, you know, the range of 1 ping for range on a sonar, or you know, 175 degrees, set your course. I mean, I know all that stuff. I know what that's about. I know what he's talking about. I know what it means. I know what the sub's doing. So yeah, I feel pretty proficient in the language.
It's good. good. My last question. If there's a point of view to this movie, what message do you hope the audience will take from it once they've seen the film?
Well, that's a good question. You know, I mean, as an actor, I mean, I'm just trying to do this guy. You know, I mean, I'm trying to play this guy as honestly as I can with as much reality and truth. And so my concern is not so much what ultimately the whole film is saying or what it's about or what it's going to leave people with. I think it will be an entertaining film, and I hope it's going to be a emotional ride on some level for people. I mean, I guess ultimately it's about, you know, restraint in the global political situation in terms of the fact that all these countries have nuclear capability, or, you know, capable of blowing each other up, and you just hope to God that this is never used. But I don't know in terms of a message.